He spelled his son's name in the Czech Republic. Jayeska. Hello, Jayeska. You spelled your name as like in the Czech Republic. No! Jayeska. All of the letters. It's pronounced Jayeska. No, we like Jayeska. Also, Mazel tov, Jayeska. I know what that is. That's family. Everybody got to I like that. Oh, we can't just use the live stream right here. Shalom, Rabbi.
Okay. Hello, Claire. Yes. Oh, you're a great project. Thank you. I don't think this is going to stay lit. Good. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Pick up a prayer book over there and come on in. We're gonna create our outdoor sanctuary by wherever we sit. That becomes the sanctuary. Yai lai 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 lai. 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 Now this is great. I love this. If we add one more row in front, then everybody will sit one row closer, right? Because there has to be one empty row in the. That's right, yeah. Thank you, Christy. Yai lai 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 lai. 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 Yai lai 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 lai. Yai 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 lai 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 lai. Yai 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 lai 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 lai. Okay, so here's the idea. The people watching online, hello folks watching online, they're looking at me and the microphone's pointed to me. Can you sing loud enough so that they can hear from the microphone that's pointed at me? Because they're not hearing through here. They're hearing through that box up there. Try it. Yai, la, 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 la. That's it. Yai, la, 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 la. Yai, la, 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 la. Yai, la, 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 la. Again. Yai, la, 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 la. Yai, la, 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 la. Yai, 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 la, 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 la. Shabbat Shalom. I know you're all wondering, who is that guy leading services? It's good to be back. More about that later. Let's begin Shabbat by lighting Shabbat candles. Candle in the wind. Yes, we're going to make it. It's going to work. So our candles this evening will be lit by tomorrow's bar mitzvah, Jack Balendorf, along with his parents, Brian and Debbie, and his sister, Amy. So come on up. We're going to do this here. We have reinforcements coming if this doesn't work. It's all right. I'm gonna try to get this candle here. Okay. Brian, you're going to do that reading over here, right? Yep. Go ahead. It'll pick you up.
Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Oh, it's working. The backup. We got it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehatlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Well, yeah. Have to ad-lib the service. You know, I wanted to start our service with some simchas, but I got to lay down some ground rules. You know, we've had so many revisions to our COVID policy. You know, new rules. It seems like something's changing every week. So here's the new rule: due to COVID-19, Sweet Caroline has been banned. There will be no touching hands, no reaching out, no touching me, no touching you. Sweet Caroline. Thank you. Who's got a simcha? A simcha is something good that happened to you during the past week. Okay, we're going to time limit our simchaot. Who's got simcha from the past week? Something good that happened to you that you can relate in one sentence. Okay, go ahead.
8th grade started for me.
Yeah. Okay. And Andrew, were you going to?
5th grade.
Yeah. GP, what were you going to say? Same thing. Okay. Who's got another? Yeah, Marcy.
So our daughter came home from Honduras. She came home actually a week ago Thursday.
I'm going to repeat that for the benefit of people watching online. Marcy says their daughter came home from Honduras. Max?
My wife and I celebrated our 18th wedding anniversary.
Okay. So Max and Jessica celebrated their 18th wedding anniversary. Some other simchas? Simchas for the week? Your son started new jobs. Both of them are gainfully employed. You don't have to worry anymore. Other simchas? Yeah.
So my husband and I celebrated our 34th wedding anniversary. And our daughter got engaged.
Yes. Janet and I celebrated our 34th wedding anniversary, and our daughter and her boyfriend are engaged.
Not a boyfriend.
Not a boyfriend, not a fiance. Yeah. Moved up in the world. After 3 months of sabbatical and the opportunity to visit with many other congregations, I want to tell you just how much I appreciate Congregation Beth Emek and how grateful I am for this community of prayer. It is a blessing simply to be together with friends and neighbors. On top of that, though, I now have a clearer picture of what distinguishes us and our style of worship from other congregations. So if you're curious about my sabbatical, here are 3 takeaways from my forays into the twilight zone, which is Kabbalat Shabbat. First, people show up because it is their congregation. They come because of the people, because of the sense of belonging. It's not about the content. You could swap out the prayers, but people show up because they recognize one another and value their relationships. Second, the tone of worship is far more a reflection of the style of worship leader than the particular prayers that they recite. In fact, over and over again, I noticed in other congregations a willingness to jettison large sections of the liturgy. And what remained was the warmth of the rabbi or the engagement of the cantor, or even the extemporaneous insights shared by the Shaliach Tzibur, the prayer leader. Finally, congregations overwhelmingly are leaning into the music. People want to sing. Sometimes I felt that that was at the expense of the poetry of prayer, that it reflects a detachment from the beauty of the language itself. But that is a small quibble. I love to sing too. And if finding the right balance between the spoken word and the music is an ongoing challenge, that is perhaps because so many congregations want to correct an imbalance in prayer, which has too often favored the cerebral over the emotional, the brain over the heart. And so I return to you with a renewed desire to touch the heart, to lean into the music, and to celebrate the special quality that is all our own here at our little shul in the valley. Let's sing. I'll get the page numbers up here. It won't fly away. There we go. Page 20, and in Lachadoti, let's sing the first, second, and last verses. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavela. 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 Shamor v'sachor v'dibor echad. Hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'letchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha. Ki mekor habracha me'erosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshavas tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Last verse, we rise and face the entrance. Boi v'shalom ateret bala. Gam b'simcha u'tzola. Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. You may be seated. I'd like to invite up any 6th, 7th, or 8th graders from our congregation to lead us in Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. So come on up. 6th, 7th, 8th graders. 26, page 26. I'm going to step over here. You can move right in there. Oh, we got a group of you tonight. Okay. Ready? Jack, get us started. 1, 2, 3.
Gadol v'yitkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Ve'yamad yivarach yirutei ve'yamlich malchutei. V'hayechonu yom echad u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala u'bizman karib v'imeru.
Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Ulam Le'amaya Yitbarach Li'yishtabach Li'yitpa'ar Li'yitramam Li'yitnaseh Li'yitadar Li'yitaleh Li'yitalam Shemei Dehudasham
Rehu.
Le'elamin Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiram Yalma V'imeru.
Amen. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Le'olam Vaed. Praise be the one to whom our praise is due. Praise be the one to whom our praise is due. Praise be the one to whom our praise is due. Now and forever. Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. good when a song has a lai part. It makes it user-friendly. Please be seated. It's a little thought I had about the Ma'ariv Aravim prayer, the evening prayer that we recite. In the summertime, we are drawn outdoors and find ourselves connecting with something essential, something basic. And that's what the prayer Ma'ariv Aravim strives to identify, that basic, essential relationship with the world around us. The poet William Wordsworth wrote of the truth that one finds in nature. Now, Wordsworth was an educated man and a practiced writer, so it is striking to hear him essentially demote all his learning and skill in favor of an encounter with what is essential. In his poem, The Tables Turned, he has a magnificent line which pretty much sums up what those of us who went to graduate school know all too well about the skills we acquired. Regarding knowledge itself, Wordsworth says, "We murder to dissect." Here is a piece of that poem. One impulse from a vernal wood may teach you more of man, of moral evil and of good, than all the sages can. Sweet is the lore which nature brings. Our meddling intellect misshapes the beauteous form of things we murder to dissect. Enough of science and art. Close up those barren leaves. Come forth and bring with you a heart that watches and receives. You'll find this meditation in the back of the prayer book on page 373, based on the Ahavat Olam prayer, actually Ahava Rabbah prayer, the introduction to Shema, page 373. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one, and we will know that you are one. Page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod, Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod, Kivod Malchuto, Leolam lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך יאי לי יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי בצווך היום על לבבך יאי לי יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 ושיננת בבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ופלחתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להם על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Page 39. Please read this with me. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. That's what marching together should sound like, just like that. Mi chamocha ba'eli Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'eli Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. All right, I sing a line, you answer back. Nora tehilo. Okay, I am living Moshe Miriam. Se'elianu ve'ameru. Se'elianu ve'ameru. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Page 43. Together, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, Help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותיו. Very tall. Just follow the clamp as Janet's doing. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat. Just like that. 2 and 1. לעשות את השבת לדורותיו. Very tall. You answer back. Veini Uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti le'oto la'am Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ורitolam כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ורitolam וביום השביעי שבת וינפש וביום השביעי ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ורitolam. One more time. And ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותיו ורitolam. Page 46. Please rise as you are able for the beginning of the tefillah. Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi agita ilatecha. Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi agita ilatecha. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi agita ilatecha. Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi agita ilatecha. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Oh God, open up my lips as I begin to pray. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav LaHoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim. Umatir Asurim, Umekayim, Emunato, Lishene Afar, Mihamo Kapal Givurot, Umida Mela, Melech Memi, Umechayeh, Umatzviach Yeshua, V'nemana Talachayot Hakol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye Hakol, Ata Kadosh, V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim B'Chol Yom Yehalalucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. Page 57. Please read with me at the bottom of the page. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha livadcha b'yirah na'avo. At this time in our worship, we ask for healing for members of our congregation and their loved ones who are ill. If you are praying for healing of body or healing of spirit for a loved one, I invite those of you here on the courtyard to recite that person's name out loud as my eyes pass yours. We know that those of you who are watching are also praying for loved ones. We join our prayers to yours as we say these words. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, God, the source of healing. Let us say, Amen. You can find words for Misha Berach on page 253. Did I get that correct? 253. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. There are wonderful, unexpected things that happen when you pray outdoors, like something flying right above my eyesight during that prayer, like something receiving the prayer, just going, I'm going to hang here. I'm going to hang here and just take that prayer and then fly away with it and take it where it belongs. It's just beautiful. Well, this evening we celebrate a very special occasion in the life of our congregation. In a few moments, we will install our new and continuing board of directors for their sacred service to the congregation for the coming year. That service is both an honor and a tremendous responsibility. We are all putting our faith in their wise judgment and prudent decisions on our behalf. And that certainly counts more now than ever. It is interesting that this year, board installation falls on the same Sabbath when we read the second iteration of the Ten Commandments, Parshat Va'etchanan in the book of Deuteronomy. Right before Moses repeats the Ten Commandments, he says the following: "It was not with our ancestors that the Eternal made this covenant, but with us, the living, every one of us who is here today." And in those few words, Moses sums up the whole enterprise of congregational leadership. Someone else entered into this covenant long ago. They didn't do it for themselves. They did it for us. Today, we pick up their torch, or perhaps it would be better to say that we pick up their Torah. Every board of directors must deal with the particular situation that they are handed. But the covenant, the overarching commitment, goes far beyond the mundane details of budget and building, of program and policy. It is a commitment to the realization of a dream, not just the dream of the founders of Congregation Beth Emek, but the dream that our ancestors had as they stood on the borders of the promised land at the very moment when Moses spoke those words. Judaism is a path toward meaningful lives, toward realizing the sacred in the everyday, toward healing a broken world and completing the work of creation. Every board of directors is engaged in that task, even when the specifics vary from year to year. We, the congregation, thank you, our incoming board of directors, for all the work you will do in the coming year to realize that vision. And now I would like to invite members of the board of directors for the coming year to come forward, stand with me here. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to recite your pledge of commitment. And that's how good it can be. Yeah, just all right. Even though I'm taking the tour from the ark, you can remain seated. Jack, that's a good idea. That's step right over. I'm going to hand everybody this. Hang on to it for a moment.
Oh, no.
The Torah teaches, then the Eternal said to Moses, gather for me 70 of Israel's elders, of whom you have experience as elders and officers of the people. And I hear you commenting about the size of the board of directors back then. And bring them into the tent of meeting. Let them take their place with you. I will come down and speak with you there, and I will draw upon the spirit that is on you and put it upon them. They shall share the burden of the people with you. You shall not bear it alone. You, members of the board of directors, stand here in this is our tent of meeting to draw upon the spirit of our ancestors. They shared the burden of leadership, and now you take upon yourselves this responsibility which has been handed down to you. We know that the task is sacred and that the positions of leadership you are about to assume are an honor and a privilege. May all your actions as directors of this congregation be worthy of the trust that has been placed in you. May you be blessed with clear vision and wise judgment. May your term of service to this congregation deepen the spiritual dimension of your own lives, bringing you into partnership not only with one another, but with God. As the psalmist said, unless the Eternal One builds the house, its builders labor in vain. I ask you now to recite your pledge of commitment.
I faithfully pledge to fulfill all the duties and responsibilities which pertain to my position as a member of the Board of Directors of Congregation Beth Emek. Through my service, may I help to advance the ideals of Judaism and strengthen the fellowship of our congregation. I devote myself to this task. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'echianu v'kiyamanu v'higyanu lazman hazeh. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this season.
Amen. Won't you join me in wishing the board Mazel Tov? Torah?
There we go again. You had him taking. He's collect.
And while you can return to your seats, we're going to sing together. So let's just sing that prayer together, okay? You want to put that up there? Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman Amen again. Max, are you on for announcements? Who's on? Who's doing announcements tonight? Okay, Janelle. All yours.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Might have to do this on my tippy toes.
Don't worry, it'll pick you.
Thank you, Rabbi Milner. It's wonderful to have you back. Thank you. I'd like to also thank our tech benches for arranging a live stream, assuming they're somewhere over there. Please join us for Kiddush and Motzi after the service. I'd like to thank the B'nai Mitzvah Havurah class families for hosting tonight's Oneg in honor of Jack Bellendorf at the Hyde for his bar mitzvah tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, Torah study is online and in person at 9 a.m., followed by Shabbat morning service led in great part by Jack Bellendorf. Shabbat services will continue here in the outdoor courtyard at 7:30 for the remaining Fridays in August. All services will continue to be available on Zoom and live stream to ensure everyone can attend. Calling all singers, which is not me. Sorry, I can't carry it. You are invited to join CBE Choir for the coming High Holy Days. The music is joyful and spiritual, and the camaraderie is great. Directed by John Cohen, our choir is one of the highlights of the Fall Holy Days. New participants are welcome, and all materials are provided, and so please contact John Cohen. Rehearsals started yesterday and run through September 29th from 7 to 9 p.m. in the sanctuary. Madrahim are still needed for the upcoming school year. They're a major part of our school's program as mentors to our younger students, as well as helping our school run smoothly. Please contact Judith Radowski for information about applications, positions available, and the mandatory training dates that are coming up. This Sunday, August 14th, is our open house from 10 to 12. Whether you are new to the area or just new to Beth Emek, we invite you to drop by our open house to learn about worship opportunities, our community, and educational programs for all ages. Join us for the Jewish Community Federation's Safe Synagogue Seminar on Sunday, August 28th at 12:30. Raphael Brenner, Director of the Community Security Program for the Jewish Community Federation, will be presenting a training exclusively for Beth Emek. This training provides a roadmap for dealing with unexpected situations. We encourage everyone who is able to join in person. A Zoom option is available for those unable to join. This training will not be recorded or live streamed. For more upcoming news, events, activities, and the links to register, please check out our weekly Once Around newsletter or the Beth Emek website. Thank you.
Thanks, Janelle. We continue in the prayer book now with Aleinu on page 282. I invite you to please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latek gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo samcheltenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korin, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 285, you may be seated. Please read with me. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Page 287. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu bayom hahu Yeh Adonai Echad, Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. Judaism teaches us the sacred duty of memory. On this Shabbat, we remember those members of our congregation and their loved ones who have died within the past 30 days. We observe Shloshim for David Phillips. And we remember those whose yahrzeit occurred during the past week. I invite those who are observing yahrzeit for the following to rise as I recite their names. Marion Abrams, Joseph Hoffman, Lillian Liscombe, Harry Rosen, Mary Wilson. And I invite all who are observing the first year of mourning to rise at this time. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. We rise as one congregation, united by memory and compassion to praise God's name. Mourner's Kaddish may be found on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ba'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. V'hagala uvizman kariv imru amen. Yehi shemei rabba mivarach le'olam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpahar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudisha briachu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechmata. Da'amiran v'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Uyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Let us say together, Amen. You may be seated. Following our closing song, Jack is going to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. Let's turn to page 321 for Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, V'yeit Nasa V'chem Azamalek Shemo Nikra, V'yacharei Yilot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Yebetim Bara. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, V'yeit Nasa V'chem Azamalek Shemo Nikra, V'yacharei Yilot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Yebetim Bara. V'hu echad v'yein sheni, lehamshilo lehachbira, v'li reshi v'li tachlit, v'lo ha'oz v'ha'nisra. V'hu eli v'chai go'ali, v'tzorchem li v'et zara, v'hu isi u'man Nakosi v'yom ekra. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, V'yeit Nasa V'chem Azamalek Shemo Nikra, V'yacharei Yichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Yebetim Bara. Yado Avkid Ruchi Be'eti Shan Ve'ayira Ve'im Ruchi Kaviyat Adonai Li V'lo Ira Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Ve'et Nasa V'chem Azamalek Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Yichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Yebetim Bara. And if you would turn to page 5, you'll find the words for Kiddush. Jack, come on up and join me up here. And look at that Kiddush cup over here. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks very much. Great. Yeah. Why don't you step right up here, okay? Yep. Okay. Yep.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'raksa b'anu, v'shabar kodsho v'ahava u'vratzo tinchilanu, Zikaron lemase bereshi. Ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh. Zecher l'tziyah Mitzrayim.
Kivanu v'charta, v'yatanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodecha, v'yahava uvratzon, inchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashavat. L'chaim. And now, you want to take that cover off there and great. And you pick up the challah. Beautiful challah. Look at this gorgeous challah. Okay, ready? Go for it. Yeah, just leave.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. Shabbat shalom. Take that and you have a bite and bring that to your parents, okay? Shabbat shalom, everybody.